Marina and Greta, please remember to also record just to have a backup plan.
And also, please, I see there are some bots and artificial intelligence in the minutes. If you don't mind to turn them off, because the participant agreed to participate to this call by signing the consent form in the registration, but this is another layer of data stream that we would like to avoid if possible. Thank you. So, thanks a lot for being here. This is the second and last webinar and matchmaking session for the second call of the PartArt for Ocean and Water project. What we will talk about today. We will talk about PartArt for Ocean and Water as a project and its, let's say, concept and mission. Then we will deep dive into the accelerator, the open call challenge, the eligibility criteria, the submission process, the financial guidance, and the contract. And we will have some time for question and answer, but you can also start typing, not now, but while we talk, you can also use the chat to enter your question, but we hope to answer the questions during this presentation. Important disclaimer, this session, this webinar, do not replace the guidelines for applicants, and we cannot go over all the detail of the guide of applicants, which is the main document that I'm sure you already read and will reread and study carefully before the submission, because there you will find all the information necessary for submitting a successful proposal, together with the question and answer, the FAQs file and document. Both, of course, are on our website. By the way, I'm Antonella Passani, and I'm responsible for as T6 ecosystem, responsible for managing the call and for the impact assessment of the project. Together with me, we have all the consortium, basically. Each of them will introduce themselves while they're talking, and I leave the floor to our project coordinator, Chiara Certomà, Professor Chiara Certomà, for starting with what is the PartArt for Ocean and Water.
Thanks, Antonella. Thanks indeed. If you can keep the slides open so you can just move to the next one as soon as I say next, but stay with this one. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for your interest in our second call. You already know, I'm sure, what PartArt for Ocean and Water is, but just to give you some viva voce perspective, PartArt is a collaborative initiative which is aimed at harnessing the power of participatory art and creativity to promote awareness and actions toward ocean and water sustainability. So what we provide are, of course, fundings for your project, but not only fundings, but also training, mentoring, and networking. And we really want you to engage with all of these activities, all of the activities that we will engage the winners in, because those will make really an asset. Those will really boost your proposal. Next, please. So what is participatory art and creativity in our conception? Is a process that emphasizes the proactive role and participation of citizens, communities, and the society at large in creative, innovative, and artistic projects. Participatory art is seen as a process that empowers citizens. So the majority of them, not only artists and the communities, through the reinforcement of building social bonds, social cohesion, integration, and through creative means. We want to see projects that engage citizens across different stages of the creative process. So not only has those who benefit or have the possibility to enjoy from the results of a creative process, but those who co-create with the research and creativity team the entire participatory process. Example of initiative in which citizens can be involved include project idea development, participation in the artwork or creative work development, participation in the research process, so in the data gathering, data analysis, development of measurement tools, and also evaluation and also elaboration of the data you want to work on, advocacy, communication, but there may be many others depending on your creativity. Next, please. What is a participatory art initiative? A participatory art initiative is a trans and interdisciplinary action, which is intersectoral, so it engages people coming from different sectors and participatory processes for 6 months. The themes we would like to see are ideally composed by people from different backgrounds and expertise who will be willing to go beyond their disciplinary boundaries, therefore to transdisciplinary collaborate and to engage with people coming from different sectors, including, of course, the artistic, scientific, but also professional sector. So, of course, also individual organization can apply, but we give preference to consortia exactly because we focus on the interdisciplinarity or transdisciplinarity and the transsectorial nature of your proposal. So please bear in mind that we want to see projects that combine together art, science, and citizen engagement. Next, please. What kind of artistic and creative expressions are we looking for? Very variegated and different kind of expressions. This can include, but of course are not limited to visual or literary or performing or new media, digital art, fashion design, gaming initiatives. And in all of these categories, you can expand your creative imagination and provoke with your project the possibility for tightening the relationship between European citizens and the water, ocean and internal waters. Next, please. Our project builds upon the concept of ocean literacy. So what we want to see increased is the collective ocean literacy. So the awareness, the understanding of lay people, rather than scientists and creative people, of the relationship between especially ocean, but also internal water and the society. So we want to see people at the end of the project, the people that has been involved at the end of the project, to be capable to recognize the ecosystem services provided by the ocean, to effectively communicate about them, and to make informed and responsible decision. Therefore, we would like to see projects that have an impact both at the social level, at the level of behaviors, but also at the level of policy making and decision making. And this is possible in our understanding and the European Commission understanding through elements of knowledge awareness and emotional attachment. This is why art and creativity are crucial elements, exactly because this can focus on the emotional attachment between people and the ocean and waters. Next, please. Now, the accelerator. I leave the floor to my colleague that can describe the process in which the winners are going to be involved along the 6 months together with the realization, the performance of the founded project.
Good morning. I am Fran Iglesias from the EPICA La Fueralesbaus team, and we will help you, hopefully, for those accessing to the PIEs in the acceleration program. Can we go next, Antonella? This is a really interesting project, I think, because we are not offering only money, that it's always nice to have in order to create the ideas and to make it happen, but also to really help you on trying to promote your impact and the properly realization of the project. So we have a team here in the Partner for Oceans with different expertise, let's say, and we will try to help you during the path to the final event and the final exhibition or whatever you consider at the end. And then we will try to do two different things during the 6 months. First is to help you in all these kind of potential problems, barriers, based on our expertise. As Chiara was saying, this is a quite ambitious project trying to combine many different fields. And then we can share with you some experience that we have, of course, not as a mentor, but I would say, I prefer to say as a colleague to help you during the process. And at the same time, we will also help you to monitor the progress in order to be ready for, at the end, be compliant with all the European Commission requirements. So the acceleration will help you in both to be ready for the final review, let's say, but also to increase the potential. As you know, you have to be on at the end of July here in Barcelona to present your results, but also you have to do it in your location, all the events. So we will, as Epica, help you to connect with the proper people inside our consortium or maybe outside when needed to try to find some experts for helping you in all these fields. Let's go for next. So at the beginning, we will start with the, let's say, the ideation and conceptualization. For me, this is something like a common space that will help you to connect with the other PIs, selected PIs, but also to block the basics from Partner for Oceans. As you know, sometimes from the proposal to the real world, there are some details to block. And then the first phase, that it's around 1 month, we will help you together, all selected PIs, to consolidate the basics in order to really create the project properly during the next 5 months. Then during the implementation, we will try to monitor and help you, I would say, on demand according to your really needs. We are assuming that different PIs will have different requirements, but we will monitor the progress in scientific field, in artistic field, even in production of the final event, try to help you to at least detect potential barriers, citizen engagement, impact, ethics. There are many things when you try to do these kind of things with real people and real impact that you have to take into advantage. And so we will try during the second phase to go project by project and try to help you during the path to the success, I hope. And then at the end, the third phase that we are assuming is around July, let's say, we will go for more for the implementation of that and try to help you in final details for production, for impacting, for communicating, for being ready to go for that. And then during the process, we will have a midterm and a final term review that it's not clearly inside the acceleration, but the acceleration will help you to be ready for that. That it's quite important. So it's important to understand that this is a cascade funding process, that it's really nice in order to help small institutions to go for European funding. But at the end, we have to be compliant. Okay, so we will help ask you some minimum requirements, that it's not because we like to review your information, it's because it should be compliant and we should also take care about what you are doing there. Okay, so this is the acceleration. It's quite important. If you have, let's say, a super clear idea on how to do it, I think that it's not a good indicator. These processes are quite new, quite ambitious, and then it will be always nice to share ideas and recommendations from different partners. Let's go for next. And I think that that's it. Remember that you will commit to participate in the acceleration. I mean, it's a mandatory process. Of course, I think it's a nice process that we will try, again, not as supervisors, but as team members trying to help to really create impact. But this is a mandatory process that you have to commit to, assist to the meetings, to be open to the recommendations, to do the informations that you need to do, and all the process in order to really create impact and go for the participatory approaches, the ethical constraints, and everything together. And I think that's it. Antonella?
Yeah, this is me. Before we go there is a question about how many days the demo day will last in order to account for the costs. The demo day will be 2 days, if I remember correctly. But how many days you will need to stay to Barcelona depends on your project. If in the demo day you want to present the results of the project by reproducing part of your activities, it really depends what kind of activities you have to reproduce. If you want to have a theater performance, for example, you may need to come before the actual 2 demo days, middays, in order to prepare, to set up the stage and everything. If you want to do a concert, maybe it's just enough for 2 days. So it depends on your plan or your project. So you have to think when you do the budget about these related costs.
Can I add something, Antonella? So for the demo day, we are trying also to be a window for you to be seen. I mean, consider the demo day not only as an administrative issue, but we will try to gather community there in order to let you be seen by other stakeholders that can help you to go to other different locations to do it again and to create replication and sustainability of your projects. So it's important to try to balance what you can try to bring to Barcelona. I know that participatory approaches will last more than 2 days, and not everything will be able to be repeated or whatever, but it's a good opportunity to showcase internationally, let's say, what you have done locally in a way to really create a bit more sustainable projects and gather new potential early adopters or clients for your project. You are mute, Antonella.
Fantastic. Let's dig into the Open Call Challenge. This is very important. We want projects that answer to the challenge. So this is the focus the project must have. So we're talking about participatory art, we talk about ocean literacy, empowerment of community, fantastic. This is for all the calls of part art, but this specific call is about engaging Mediterranean communities to prevent, study, and tackle water pollution. So please read carefully each of the words of the Open Call Challenge that has been co-designed together with experts of different sectors, because they are there for a reason. So the focus, as Chiara already said, is on local community. So we want you to start from the challenges, environmental and social challenges of those communities, amplify their unheard voice in the topic of preventing, studying, and reducing the pollution. We want proposals that go beyond awareness raising and that really take serious the idea of combining science with citizen engagement and artistic practices. So to co-create new ways of understanding and tackling pollution. So the idea of interdisciplinarity, as already says, that's really a combination of these 3 pillars, and not just like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or something, or one above the others in terms of power, let's say, or relevance. Proposal can focus on any type of pollution, so solid waste, chemical pollution, nutrient, micro, nanopollutants, biological pollution, noise, light, thermal or pathogen pollution, or any other. But we're looking specifically for projects that are able to have a whole system approach, considering the entire chain of action that generate pollution and interplay between fresh water and ocean, and focus on less investigated form of pollution and their effect. We would like to have projects that are able to investigate the invisible, uncertain, and unknown aspect of pollution. Sometimes we cannot see pollution, we cannot smell pollution. Citizens can be really far away from the experience, but then they experience on their body and their life in many ways. So this capability of project to investigate this aspect are also very welcome. And also the capability to investigate the societal impact on pollution, so the effect on the communities, their way of living, how they see their future, or maybe give visibility and valorize the practices that are already in place, made by the community in order to face pollution-related issues. So why this call has a focus on Mediterranean and more specific on a specific part of the Mediterranean? This is because this second call have a support in addition to those already explored in the accelerator, because we have the Sailing Lab. The Sailing Lab is a boat that will sail from Nettuno, which is a town close to Rome, to Badalona, which is the port, one of the harbor of Barcelona, between the 21st of June and the 26th of July. And this boat, the Sailing Lab, will visit selected pies. So if you win, if you're successful and you enter the accelerator, we will have 7 projects. Some of them will be visited by the Sailing Lab. And the idea is that the Sailing Lab will meet with artists, experts, with community, will make videos, will make high quality photos, will give visibility to your project in many ways, and will connect one pie to another. So bringing maybe the output of one project to the next destination, or in any case, supporting the visibility of your project through its journey. And this is why we ask you to organize one event, either the final event, but preventing some of the questions. If it is from the 21st of June to the 26th of July, some of the visit will be done in the final phase of the project, so in the final event. Some others will have intermediate events to be considered. And in order to assure that let's say to prove that you are able to organize one event in an harbor, we ask you a letter of intent from the harbor or marina you select. In the guide of applicants, you will find the template for this letter of intent, and also a dedicated annex that explains what are the requirements in order to be able to host the Sailing Lab. So the events must take place in the area highlighted, let's say, bordered by this red line in the map that you see. And this is not negotiable. So this is the only area that can be covered because of weather, financial, time constraint, and considerations. Because we are working on pollution, we are working on sustainability and ocean literacy, we want the project to do what they praise for. So the project need to be, your project need to be fully sustainable. So including the use of sustainable materials, circular solution, renewable energy, and you must commit to the Climate Pact pledge, which is a European Commission initiatives that highlight that, again, also give visibility and give, let's say, recognition to those initiatives that are working toward full decarbonization or at least carbon neutrality. So please have a look at the Climate Pact pledge requirement and be sure to click on the related button in the submission platform, because you must commit to the pledge. So there are several considerations about eligibility. As already said, individual or consortia, a legal entity may apply. Applicants must be established in a EU member state or associated countries. Entity from third countries can participate, but cannot lead a consortium and cannot receive direct funding from PartHarp, so they must receive funding through an EU-based project lead. So you can have people from different organizations, from different countries, but check if you are from a member state or associated country or third countries, you might need to have different role in the consortium. There are countries that are under restrictive measure from the European Union, and of course, these cannot participate, cannot be eligible. And again, please check the situation of your country in this regard. All projects must be implemented within the European territory and member state or an associated country. Every entity is allowed to have only one application. So especially for large organizations that may have multiple offices, multiple units in different member states, please be sure to check internally if other unit, other departments are submitting proposal, because we can only have one application. Double funding is not allowed. What does it mean? If you have a project that is going on, or you have a project that's been already awarded and will start during the accelerator, you cannot ask funding for exactly the same activities for exactly the same project. This is double funding when you have two different sources of financing for the same activities. Of course, you can back up, you can expand a project that you already have, but you have to be sure and to explicitly describe this in the proposal that what you are asking to cover with the cost of part art are additional and new initiatives, additional initiatives, okay? The project and organization that have been funding in the first open call cannot participate in the second call, so we can spread a little bit our help toward other organizations. There are requirements in terms of letter of intent. So there is, as I say, the letter of intent from the Harbor Marine Authority. All the application must be submitted by the deadline, 2nd of October, 5 p.m. set, with a valid application form. And there is, of course, also requirement about the length of the application, the format you have to use, that you have to adhere to the template that we see in a second. You have to answer all the questions that are in the submission platform, which is EasyChair. And all application must be accompanied by senior declaration of honor that need to be electronic or physically signed by the coordinator, by the representative of the coordinator. So let's say you write a proposal and you submit it, and then what happened with that? So so first of all, for doing that, there is the process on how to apply. So you read very carefully the guide of applicants and the FAQs. You download the application form. You have it on our website. You see here, you just click and they download. The application form is a Word document. You download the letter of intent, have it signed. You download the declaration of honor and have it signed. Then if you don't have an account on the submission platform, EasyChair, you create one. And there is also a how-to guide, a tutorial, let's say, on how to use the platform. Then you write your proposal, you submit it, making sure that you answer all the project and you submit it by time. What happened next? We do the eligibility check. So we check if you are clicking all the boxes in terms of eligibility. Then the proposal goes to 3 reviewers that will read and evaluate your project. Then we select the project that have higher scores are let's say, shortlisted and invited. The first 21 are invited to interviews that will be done online by the part art consortium team. And after the interviews, we will have the final decision and we will award 7 prizes. The application form is organized in 3 main parts. There is an introduction, and then there is relevance, quality, and impact. As I said, there will be 3 experts evaluating it and giving a score from 0 to 5 to each of these criteria, which is also the part of the application form, so relevance, quality, and impact. Only the proposal that pass the threshold for all the selection criteria plus the overall threshold will be ranked, and the first 21st will be interviewed. Of course, there are more information on these in the guide of applicants. This is the application, the first page of the application form, and you see there are more things to be done, and it's written in red because it's important, and we really want you to check it. If you do not respect, for example, the length, 5 pages, or the font, the spacing that we are asking you, the margin, you will not be evaluated. It will be just discharged. This is in order to give the applicants the same opportunity. So if a proposal is written with micro text, can have more words in it, and it's not fair for the others that respecting the format. So please just keep it very seriously and look at it. If you have questions, you can make it now, or you can also write an email to us later on, of course. Chiara, do you want to stress this point about proposal writing and how to make it successful?
Yeah, I'd like to make some clarifications, especially regarding the final event, as I said, some questions in the chat, and just to make things a little bit more clear, as Antonella mentioned, the ratio for the geographical limits is defined by the possibility for the sailing club to visit your project. Therefore, to land where you are implementing your project and film, document what you are doing. Therefore, it goes without saying, it cannot be realized on other shores than the ones included in the red area of the map. It goes without saying. This is due, the limits of the map are due to the logistic, climatic, the conditions of the weather, the condition of the sea. So it cannot, this is the maximum areas that it can be covered by the sailing club, and there are no other possibilities. Therefore, just consider this point, which is extremely relevant. Also, about the letters from the Harbor Authority, you have a format in the application form that you can use, and this is already prepared on the part that had letter, had a paper. Of course, you can also include the letter from your Harbor Authority with the head paper from the authority itself. What else? And please be sure that all the requests are ticked by the authority, the harbor authorities, because those requests are fundamental for allowing the sailing club to enter the harbor. So there are some technical specificities that you may not be familiar with, but this may impede the sailing club to enter the harbor in case they are not present. So just be sure that there are, they are fulfilled. Last point I'd like to stress is about the budget. There are some in the budget and the event. We are going to give you some further details, some further information about how create your budget. But I want to make you clear that the cost and the organization of the event, the main event or the final event in the harbor, is at your own both expenses and responsibility for the organization of the space, the logistic organization, the acquisition of permission, and so on. Therefore, all of them need to be included into the budget. I also would like to make clear that this event is not coincident with the demo day, in case there are confusion. The demo day is at the end of the 6-month period and is held in Barcelona and organized by EPICA, while the final event or the main event of your project produced in the harbor space is your own responsibility. There are clear rules in the application guidelines. What else? Okay, I think by now it's all from my side.
Okay. Important dates. So the closing date of this call is the 2nd of October, and please be aware that we might receive a certain number of proposal. So the platform can slow down in the last day, in the last hours. Plus, it can take some time to upload the document. So please do not wait until the last moment, because otherwise the timestamp of your proposal will be later than 5 p.m. and that will exclude you from the review process. You will be not eligible. This is something that is automatically done by the platform. So please submit before the deadline. You can submit a proposal today and then keep working on it until the end and change it progressively. So really do not wait and do not send emails at 5 minutes to 5 asking if the proposal has been submitted, or if you tell us 5 minutes before the deadline or half an hour before the deadline that something is not working. We might not have the time to intervene. So there is an help desk for the call, and there is also an help desk for the EasyChair. When you submit a proposal, you will receive an automatic email that tells you that your proposal has been submitted. So that's it. You will not have other reaction from us in this sense. Then here you have the date for the other steps. It's important that the interviews will be between the 20 and the 27th of November. We will send invitation to the project to be interviewed, giving a time slot, and we cannot negotiate. It will be those slots, and it is on you to make yourself clear that you can have interviews in those days. So if you already know that you are planning honeymoon or travel and you don't want you to work in that week, just consider that someone else from your consortium must be there, otherwise wait for another occasion. Let's say we will have a third open call in the next months, and then the accelerator starts the 2nd of February 2026. There are already some questions about the financial doubts, let's say. So I leave the floor to Luca
Actually, it's me. Yes, it's Caterina.
Caterina for the Caterina Pozzobon from Sapienza to go through the financial guidelines.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry if you cannot see me. I have some issue with my laptop, but I hope you can hear me well. So my role today is to guide you through the financial aspects of the call, as in the submission process, you will be asked to prepare a first idea of budget, and these guidelines can help you drafting it. So first of all, let's see how much you can receive. So each pie can get up to 50,000 euros. And please do not ask for more, because this is a maximum amount. I'm telling this because it happened in the first call. And how, in case you get selected, you will receive the money in 2 stages. 50% you will receive at the beginning, so by the first month of the accelerator, and 50% after the delivery of the final report, so at the end of every activity you will do. Please consider that this means that there are some costs, so 50% of the funding that must be advanced by PIEs, as you will receive the plus 50% at the end of the whole process. So next, please. Okay, so let's take a small step back and see what a lump sum is. Lump sum is a sum which is based on the budget estimate provided in each PIE's proposal. The accuracy and credibility of the budget is evaluated as part of the selection, and so it's very important that you keep it within the 50K. No budget report is required for a lump sum, so you will not be asked to produce a financial report. However, you will have to keep the receipts and the justification of expenses for a period of 5 years' time, as this is because the Commission can always conduct an audit, so it's important that all the expenses will be tracked. So next, please. Now, a very quick overview of the eligibility criteria and rules of what you can spend the money on. So first of all, the costs have to be actually incurred. They have to be budgeted and necessary. They have to be compliant with national laws on taxes, labor, and social security. They have to be done during the project implementation. So all the costs must fall into the 6 months period of time of the project. They must be identifiable and verifiable. So again, here, keep track of all the expenses you do. And lastly, they have to be financially responsible. So the costs should reflect reality. So and also reflect financial management principle, including economy and efficiency. So next, please. So let's see now what you can spend the money on. So what are the categories of expense you can spend this money on? So first of all, you have personal costs. So you can use the funding for paying salaries and social contributions for employees or other people that you will work with during the 6 months. Second category is the subcontracting. So you can ask another entity to do a part of the work that you are planning for your project, but this is something that doesn't have to be a central activity of the project. This is something that, something like small or something limited. Also, subcontracting must follow the competitive market practices and should prioritize value for money or the lowest price available. Subcontracting to affiliates or between project beneficiaries is prohibited. So you have to look for someone outside your group or your consortium. Okay, next, please. Another category is purchase costs, and these include, first of all, travel and subsistence for trips that are necessary to the project. For example, so the participation in demo days, but not only. Equipment. This is a bit tricky because equipment can be funded only by considering the depreciation costs. So they have to be calculated on the basis of the cost actually incurred. So you can cover only the use you make in the 6 months time of the project. Last is renting or leasing. So if something is eligible in this equipment, as an equipment and needs to be rented, this cost of renting can be absolutely covered. Another category is other goods and services. So here we mean catering, translations, open up access publications, and here you have some examples. Another category is internally invoiced goods and services. So again, goods and services which are provided within the beneficiary organization directly for the project, and which the beneficiary values on the basis of its usual cost accounting practices. So these, you have some examples as well here. Okay, next, please. Another important category to be considered are indirect costs. Indirect costs are all those costs that you will have to cover that are not part of the former categories and have to be calculated as part of the total funding of 50K. They are charged on a flat rate of 20% for each cost category, but there are some aspects that cannot contribute on to the calculation of these indirect costs. For example, the financial support for third parties, or for example, subcontracting. So these voices are not, do not contribute to the calculation of these indirect costs. Next, please. Remember that there are some things that you cannot cover with the funding of the project, and namely this is the any deductible VAT that is recoverable under the national tax system. So please remember all costs that you indicate should be stated inclusive of any VAT, because VAT is not recoverable. Okay, next, please. So finally, as I said before, you have to keep track of the expenses of And each expense has a different way to be recorded. For example, you can see here personal costs. For personal costs, you have to keep employment contracts or equivalent, payroll records, and for contracting, you have to keep the invoices and the documentation confirming the subcontractor work. For travel, you have to keep the tickets, the boarding passes, the hotel bills. And so just keep everything that can prove how you spend your money. So for my side, it's all. Thank you for attention, and I will leave the floor to my colleague, Luca.
But I think maybe we want to take some questions about this aspect.
Oh, yes.
now.
Sure.
So there is, for example, Anne-Marie Melster that says, we only work as a freelancer basis. We don't have employees, meaning that we pay honoraria for everybody. Is this eligible? Is it okay?
I think yes. As far as you keep track of how you spend your money, absolutely. So I think it is, yes. I ask also to Chiara Certoma, but I think it's yes. It's a yes.
For our project, it's necessary to rent a space for 2 months. Is this possible?
Yes, renting is one of the things you can cover with the costs. Of course, you will have to consider it when you write your budget, but yes.
Okay. Same question. As an artist that proposes the project, I can't be paid because I'm in the group proposing. No. All the people that works in the project can be paid, should be paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, the contract.
So this is my plot. And of course, my colleagues already talked about lots of stuff concerning the contract, so I go a bit quick because after we have the matchmaking session. So first of all, the contract, if you win, you will stipulate the contract with us, and as it means with the Sapienza, the beneficiary of part art. So me, Caterina, and Chiara, we are part of the Sapienza University of Rome, and we are the beneficiary, and you the third party. I can skip the part on the right because it is about who is eligible, who in which country, but already Antonella talked about this, so we can skip the next one. The main content of the contract are the reciprocal obligation among us, we, Sapienza, and you, the third party, the methods, requirements, and timing of payments, and I can skip on this because Caterina already described the two times in which the payment will reach you, will arrive to you. And then the annexes. At the end of the contract, there are some annexes which are very important. So our suggestion is to read very, I can go in. It is to read very, to pay a lot of attention to the contract, to what there is in. So if you have questions, please ask us. If you have doubts or whatever else. So you can go, okay. In the contract, you will see the specific list of the obligation you as a third party are committed to. So carry on the activities outlined in the call for proposal published by the beneficiary on the website and in the final work plan prepared by the third party during the first month of the accelerator. This is very important because after the first month of the accelerator, we will ask you to prepare a work plan in which maybe you can change a bit your first version of the proposal after the suggestion by the ethical advisor or also by one of us. So if you win, you will receive, we will be provided with the template to write down this work plan, but it is very important because it is the very base for going on and going ahead during the accelerator. And then, of course, you have to take part in all the activities envisaged by the accelerator, so you cannot be absent. Of course, if you are ill or something else, you can, but normally you cannot. Okay, you can go to the next one. This is the timing of payments. Already Caterina said something about this, but I would like to highlight an important part, which is at the beginning you will receive in December 2025 the first part of the, in February 2025 the first part of the payment. The second part of the payment will be sent to you in 2 months after the finishing of the accelerator, because in 1 month you have to prepare the final report, and in 1 month we have to checked it and decide if it is correct and compliant with everything. So if everything goes well, you will receive the second part of the payment in 2 months after the end of the accelerator. So it is September 2026. Please go to the next one. So in the final report, as I said before, it is very important for us to evaluate your work, and you will be provided with a template. So don't worry, but basically in this final report, you will have to describe the project as it is, as it has been done, the activities, the communication dissemination activities, how you use resources, and which challenges you pass through during all the activities, the achievements and results, and the lessons learned, and hopefully the follow-up activities you are envisioning. So please, when you write the final report, be as clear as possible, because it is crucial for us to decide if you did your work well. So do not skip paragraphs and so on. So please pay a lot of attention to this report. Next, please. And in the contract, at the end of the contract, which is already available as an annex in the guide for applicants, you will see this form, which is the one you will use to give us your bank accounts details in case of funding. So this is the specific prepared template. So feel free and feel comfortable with it. It is legal to ask you your details with this. And please, the next one. Finally, at the end of the contract, there are two important annexes, which are two templates for the informal consent. The first one is informal consent for the PIs. So please go to the next one. Oh, no, sorry. This is okay. I can go. Okay, back, please. Two important informal consent forms. The first is for you, and you will have to use it to ask the consent to participate to all the participants you will involve. So if they are children, what they will do and so on, there is a template, and you have to use it every time you involve someone in your project. And after that, there is another informal consent form. You have to sign it, because with that you agree to give us your details. And when I say us, in this case, I mean all the consortium of PartArt, so Roma, T6, University of Rome, T6, EPICA, and so on, because we have seen among us a data sharing agreement. And this is necessary for us to bring the project ahead. And so you will find all the details in these annexes, but please fill it and see it. Next, please. At the end of the contract, there is also the declaration of honor. You will have to upload during the application, and please don't say the truth while when you sign it. And if you have been bankrupt, or if you have a conflict of interest, please tell the truth. And if you are bankrupt, you cannot participate in our project. And maybe I think that there's another slide, but it is about the informal consent forms, and I have already talked about that. This is the forms for us, in which you give us and agree to giving with us your details. This is the consortium of PartArt, and maybe there is another last slide. No, there's not. So this is all.
There is a question about the declaration of honor. The declaration of honor must be signed only by the project coordinator representative. The other partners do not need, cannot. I mean, the declaration of honor must be signed by only the coordinator. Then, if there are there's a consortium or a multiple team of different mix between individual organization, whatever, you have to find a way to organize yourself. But we do not ask for a formal legal agreement before the submission or even after. It's just the contract will be signed by the coordinator. So the declaration of honor is the coordinator. The coordinator will have the money, and we need to distribute then the money according to the work to the other colleagues working with him. I think I hope this is clarified. Any other? There are several questions. We can steal 5 minutes between from the matchmaking session. One question is, after the midterm interview, is it possible to ask for a second partial payment? And unfortunately, the answer is no. So the payment installation is in the contract, is in the guide of applicants. You will receive 50% at the beginning and 50% at the end, once we check it that the work has been done. And this is not mandatory. Natalia, since you have a couple of questions about how to pay people, maybe on this is better because it's changed from country to country, the legislation and case-to-case organization, etc. Maybe you want to drop us an email explaining a little bit better the situation. Are upcoming innovative engagement ideas encouraged to apply, or the experience of artists will be weighted on more? I was trying to answer in the chat, but it's a little bit, better to talk. The competencies of the team is analyzed during the review process. So it's important that we have a description of people in the team that give the reviewer enough information to evaluate if the team is able to carry on the activities. But we do not ask, for example, for the artistic portfolio or the previous experiences. Up to the consortium to write the team part in a way that emphasize what each team member can give to the project. And we are looking, as we say, from bold to bold project, innovative ideas. So we are open to innovation, but of course, you have to prove that you are able to carry on the activities. This is the thing, right, Chiara?
Yes, I saw a question regarding the geographical location. Sophia asked about the Capraia Island, whether it is eligible. No, it's not the Capraia Island, it's another one. Somebody asked about an island which is in the mid of the red area of our guide for applicants. The answer, of course, is yes. This is included in the red area, is geographically eligible. And the further point I'd like to welcome. The further point I'd like to stress is we are looking for a project that combine together forefront scientific knowledge about the challenge, the specific challenge referred to pollution, and creative initiatives. Therefore, we are not looking for art per se. We are looking for something that combines scientific exploration, including something which is already ongoing, with the creative elaboration and the possibility to transfer this knowledge to lay people. So this is what we are looking for, and therefore pay attention to the fact that we really would like to see in your project a tight collaboration between the scientific side and the creative and artistic one, of course, in a participatory process idea.
Yeah, then is it possible for an authority officer to be included within the consortium as an individual in case of expertise in the field we are focused on? This, there is nothing from our side. It depends on your employer if you can do other jobs. If your contract include the possibility to work outside the authority, of course, for us, there is no typology of people that cannot participate. And I think that we must, there is another question about Monaco that may help, can be helpful for others. Can organization based in the Principality of Monaco be partner of the consortium? The Principality of Monaco is in European, I should check the list, but I guess it is a EU member. So yes. If not, can part of the activity be organized in the territory of Principality of Monaco in any case? If it is in European member state, sorry for my ignorance, but I'm afraid to say something that is not correct. So check the guidelines, but be back to us by email so that we can check the status of the Principality of Monaco, because on top of my head, I'm a bit in doubt, to be honest. Okay. I think we can, if there is anyone that have a question that just want to raise his hand and ask, we can have a couple of minutes more. Hello, it is possible for me as a single person to coordinate with different people and organizations in other parts of the world, salaried and not salaried, for the development and implementation of this project, or to what extent it can work like this? And if so, how can the accountability of this be demonstrated? So you are considering having a proposal made of multiple individuals. This is, of course, is possible. It will be a consortium of individuals. They will need to have a coordinator. The coordinator will receive, will sign the contract and receive the money, and will need to find a way to distribute this money. So, considering your national legal and financial system, this might take different forms, I'm afraid. So I will ask an accountant in your country first, and then write to us so that we can elaborate a bit this situation. Okay, so the Principality of Monaco is not EU. Okay, so if it is not EU, you can participate, but not as coordinator, not as lead partners, and the activities cannot take part in take place in the municipality, but could be a third party. Write us an email so we check it out. Better to avoid confusion. Okay, Chiara, do you want to close? And then we pass
Sure.
the ball to Fran
Okay.
for the matchmaking.
So thanks again for having been with us, and please stay with us for the matchmaking session as well. If you have specific question, please use the official email address. No other channels are considered as official channels, so don't reach us via social media, because we are not going to answer. So the only address is the one that you find on the application, on the project website, sorry. And so good luck to everybody, and look forward to read your proposal.
Thanks a lot. Really looking forward. Right.
Okay.
And who wants to stay for the matchmaking? We are going just
Yeah, I will
start
stop now the recording. Yeah, right?